Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sports Betting Truth. And once again, we are on the crappy website known as Reddit to get some material to talk about in terms of sports betting. And today we're going to talk about this post that got removed by the mods because it was a terrible post, but I felt like it was a great conversation starter here for the channel. So this poster, user Deadliest Cat, posted a compilation of screenshots showing him being cut off and such by bookies in the year 2022. So it's mainly text message screenshots from various bookies. And for all we know, he could have made these up or whatever. But since all four of the images are in fact screenshots from text messages, therefore he was using local bookies or legally compliant bookies, I am going to say that being cut off by those types of bookmakers is not impressive, and bragging about it is kind of pointless. And I'm really hoping that the commenters in the comment section say that. I haven't read the comments yet. I saw this post and was like, I have to make a video about it. The reason it's not impressive is because a lot of these smaller bookies don't have as much leverage. And when I say leverage, I mean one player can, in fact, ruin them. I used to when I lived in Las Vegas for the second time, my neighbor above me was a local bookie, and he only had like 6 or 7 clients. Now, a lot of those clients he had were major degenerates, like dropping tens of thousands of dollars a week on tennis and like obscure sports, and mostly losing. So for the most part, my neighbor was in good shape. But I remember one time he acquired one player who started to scare him because he was betting, I want to say it was Major League Baseball RHE bets, run hits and errors totals, and he did pretty good at first. And so my neighbor, knowing I was very into sports betting and had the channel and everything at the time, was always calling me or knocking on my door, like worried about this guy. Because when you only have 7 players, one guy who not even is a long-term winner, even if he's just a short-term or medium-term winner, can ruin you, especially if they hit a big parlay or go on a pretty lucky stretch. That one player can wipe you out, and that's why these local bookies are going to be a lot more quick to limit or cut you off than major sports books or brick and mortar books will, because the brick and mortar books have thousands and thousands of players. So even one player hitting a lucky lottery ticket parlay or going on a hot run isn't really going to matter. But for these smaller bookies who only have a handful of clients, then yes, it absolutely does matter. And so this player that my neighbor was worried about, who he thought was good on the run hit air bets, he did pretty good at those at first. But I remember I was really looking and analyzing this player's bets. I was kind of like consulting for free for this guy, and I was like, I think this guy's gonna hit his luck's gonna run out, and that's eventually what happened. Eventually, he started losing, and my neighbor was less worried. But the thing with local bookies is that they don't want anything to do with anyone who could be a winner. They just want the degenerate marks who are just going to lose money hand over fist and basically print money for them. They don't want someone who's smart or does their research, and that's why my neighbor never asked me to sign up for his book. He knew that even though I might not have been a long-term winner, that I was a potential problem because I had a better chance of being a winner than the other guys. And so he never even wanted my business. And I told him that. I was like, I'm not going to, even if I wanted to play at your book, I wouldn't, because, you're my neighbor. And if I did good, I wouldn't want to ruin you. So I think he understood. But even then, he didn't want my business. So with that being said, I'm really hoping the comments of this post that got taken down kind of set the record straight and kind of echo what I just said. Being cut off by a local is not impressive. They are a lot more quick to pull the trigger to cut you off. If you get limited by brick and mortar books or casino books, that's a lot more impressive. That might be something worth bragging about, but this right here is not. All right, so the top comment: these have to be the fakest texts I have seen. No bookie in the world talks like this unless they are 16. I'm not a bookie, but I've dealt with many. This just doesn't seem real. You would need to be a top 0.01% gambler to be kicked in most cases I've seen. So the comment there from Fast Breadfruit 6670, his first part of his comment I might agree with. Yes, these could easily be faked, but a lot of bookies do communicate through text message these days. Many of them have websites. I know my neighbor even I think he used a website. It wasn't his website, but he did have a website where his clients would make plays. But a lot of communication was done via text. But the second part, you have to be a top 0.01% gambler to be booted from the really higher end, large volume brick and mortar books or online books or casino books. But when it comes to locals, you really don't need to be. You just need to pose a threat. Like, you just need to give the aura to the bookie that you might win and they'll limit you. You don't even have to win because, like I said, they have a lot less leverage. One good player that goes on a lucky run or one player that hits a long shot parlay can easily flip them upside down, and then all of a sudden they can't pay out their winners or their clients, and so it can become a problem. Comment number 2. A selection of unfair viable claims that serve almost no purpose. I agree. He posted more images. I'm not going to open those. So basically, all these people, at least the top comments, aren't buying it, but no one really has echoed my sentiment of being limited by a local bookie is really not impressive. It's not. I never have been because I've never really used a local outside of maybe a handful of occasions, but it's not something I would go around bragging about. Now, if you get limited by a brick and mortar book or a large book, then yeah, you can go ahead and brag about that, even though people might not believe you. But no, this is not it, Deadliest Cat. Anyway, that wraps it up for this edition of Sports Betting Truth. Stay tuned right here to my channel for more videos like this, where I give you the truth about sports betting and separate the wheat from the chaff. See ya.